We don't have any imminent plans to raise prices as a result. We want to understand what the impact is and see how the market materializes going forward.
We understand, of course, the need for investment in the US, and we are playing a part of that. We have a plan for our customers. So we launched our Hyundai Assurance Program, which is confirming and assuring to the customers that MSRPs are not going to go up, in this at least this couple of months. So we are very good in uncertainty.
You just heard from auto industry leaders at the New York Auto Show this week, diverging from automakers like Ford this morning as the company teases price hikes due to tariffs as early as this May. All vehicle imports in the U.S. currently facing that 25% tariff and additional tariffs on auto parts set to take effect by May 3rd. President Trump has floated the idea of pausing some of these tariffs. Joining us to make sense of the back and forth, John Bozzella, Alliance for Automotive Innovation CEO and President. John, great to have you on this morning. Where do the automakers sit today? Because we have some folks telling our reporter on the ground at the auto show that they're not going to increase prices. And then you've got Ford, who makes 80% of their cars here, 80% of their production is in the United States already, saying they have to raise prices.
Yeah, we're right in that the midst of maximum uncertainty. Yeah. So here's what's happening. Automakers, and you heard this in your lead-in part of the segment, are committed to building more here in the United States. And we share this ambition with the president. We want to build more vehicles in the United States, and we have the capability and the capacity to do that. We want to build more parts and major components in the United States. There's no disagreement there. The challenge is, how quickly can we do this? These are massive, complex facilities and supply chains that just can't move overnight. And so what you're seeing is there's going to clearly be some impact in the near term with tariffs. That impact is probably going to be twofold. One, prices are likely to go up, and therefore sales are likely to go down as companies are adjusting and then bringing more production here to the United States. So that's the tension you're seeing. Yeah. It depends on where companies are in that continuum, I think, is what those announcements are telling you.
How much more does this cost consumers for cars in the near term?
Yeah, it's hard to tell, right? Because, but it's going to cost everybody something. And the reason for that is that there's no purely American car. There's no car that's 100% American.
Because of parts and where they get
Because of parts, right. And we have relied as an industry, for example, on duty-free trade across North America for over a quarter of a century. And that has made the U.S. industry more competitive, more dynamic, and has provided more affordable vehicles to consumers. And so as we start to unwind that, and especially as parts tariffs kick in, there are going to be price increases. I've seen ranges from $3,000 to $9,000 per vehicle. It's just really hard to know. But there's no question that these increases could be sizable.
Help me square that with what I heard you say earlier, that there is a will and a capability to move this manufacturing to the United States. Do automakers really want to do that? Like, for the real, when you talk to them, when the cameras are off, do they really want to do that?
I think that companies that operate here, here's the way the business works. You want to build near your consumer ultimately, right? It makes sense in an industry with long lead times and where you're trying to understand what the customer wants, maybe 3 years after you're starting to design and develop the vehicle. And so I think most companies have an ambition that they want to build where they sell. Now, what you have to recognize, and if you look at this market benefits from a mix of domestic produced vehicles and imports. What that mix does is it provides more affordability and more choices for customers, especially at the low end of the market, where you see most of those vehicles below $30,000 are imported. And so you have to have that balance. So what companies are saying is, I think I'd like to do more, and I think I can in some cases do more, but I don't know to what degree everything comes back, and because I think you need a more vibrant market.
From what you're hearing from companies, how are they factoring in who is building these vehicles? And specifically, you've got humanoid robots that could be running around some of these factory floors at Tesla in the near future. Elon Musk loves to talk about Optimus and all of the great things that are going to come there. But that's a direct impact on the number of employees in other manufacturing plants that have jobs, have had jobs for decades, and are trying to make sure that they're continuing to be part of that fabric as well.
Yeah, look, the jobs question's a big one, right? Automotive production in the United States is very efficient. It's a high productivity business. You do see a lot of automation. In other parts of the world, maybe less automation. So as vehicles come here, vehicle production comes here, it may be a little bit more highly automated than it was in plants in other parts of the world.
All right.
John, thanks so much for taking the time here
Thank
with
you.
us. What was your favorite concept car that you saw at the auto show? Huh?
Oh my gosh, you'll get me in trouble.
I know. I'm making
I will say there's a Genesis concept car, which is an off-road SUV with the most elegant lines you've ever seen.
All right. I'll have to check
There
it
you
out.
go. For us New York City drivers.
Exactly.
Take a look.
Right. I can take that one over the Williamsburg Bridge. John, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you.